Happy Friday, y'all. It is time for women entrepreneurs living child-free. I am super excited today to be joined by my special guest. Special guest, do you want to introduce yourself to us, please?
Hey everyone, I'm Elisa Boogaerts. Nice to see you here today. Happy Friday.
So excited to have you with us. And what is your company?
My company is Inspiration by Elisa, and I am a launch strategist and fractional project manager.
Okay, so I'm assuming when you're talking launch, we are not talking like launching spaceships and rockets and things of that nature. What kind of launches are you talking about?
So I work with coaches, and I'm talking about their program launches and their events. So typically, as coaches start to scale, or if like they are scale, they're more like established coaches. They typically have like a program or like a mastermind or something that's usually in a group format that has a specific start date or something that's rolling, and that they want to do sort of like a promotional series for that to actually like launch that so people can join their program or their mastermind. And so it usually involves a lot of promotional stuff, an event. It could be a webinar, it could be a 1-day event, a 3-day event, a summit, or something like that. And usually in that event is when they sell the program to their people.
Gotcha. So we are launching. So it is kind of like the launch of a rocket. We're getting things going, we're boosting it up, we're igniting it, but we're not actually leaving Earth, y'all. We are just doing this in our business. Well, super excited to have you joining us. Where in the world are you?
I'm in Vancouver, Canada.
How's the weather like up there?
It is beautiful today. It's blue skies, nice and warm. It's lovely. You never really know in May. You can have like cold, rainy days, and you can have beautiful, warm, sunny days. So today's really nice.
Well, we are glad you are joining us. We're hanging out in North America today, y'all. So let me tell you a little bit about Elisa. She mentioned she's a launch manager. She helps coaches launch their program events with ease so they can focus on scaling their business. Now, she's used her 15 years of technical project management experience to get her clients ready to launch. So we're talking tech. How techy do we need to be?
When launching, there's a lot of tech involved usually, especially if you're sort of a more established coach. There's not a ton of tech. Actually, it's not a huge amount, but I know that so many people really don't love tech, and so that's definitely something that I help with to get that all set up.
And what got you from 15 years in tech? I mean, you're still in tech. It's just a different way of going it. How did you get from there to here?
So when I was in tech as a project manager, that was interesting. That was fun. It was really to do with software development, and I got to work with the teams. And my whole job was to keep everybody organized and marching towards something, and kind of like leading them towards a goal, even though they were doing all the work. They were the developers, and I wasn't. And so I've kind of have kind of brought that into the coaching world. Those types of skills, because I know that it can be really daunting for for coaches to worry about all of the things that need to get done. And so I kind of work with two types of coaches. It's actually interesting because before, when I first started my business, I was more of a life coach and a health coach. And when my business coach was like, "What are you doing with all those project management skills? Like, they're really needed in the coaching industry, in the coaching business." Because he worked with a lot of newer coaches and saw that they were kind of struggling with that. And so, because a lot of people, we learn the how to do things, right? We take these programs to learn how to sell and how to put our programs together and how to do our messaging and all that kind of stuff. But the actual like execution implementation is the part where we can fall down, or it can take us 6 months to a year or something like that to get our programs out. And it can be done so much faster. And I think that if you have somebody that's telling you, hey, this is what you got to do every single week to get your launch out, I think that's really, really helpful. I actually just launched with a client, and she was saying that she was like, it was so great for you to just give me my tasks, and then I could just focus on that. I knew what I could just focus on. And she really was able to trust the process, to know that like, yes, okay, I know I need to write these emails, but that's not my task this week. I trust the process that at some point those will be like on my task list and I'll get to write them. So yeah.
I think that proven process, that proven system to me is what's so important, because it's really easy to go out there and like, okay, let me figure out. Let me go read all these different websites and articles and videos and blah, blah, blah. Let me ask AI to create it for me. But here's the thing, if we're piecemealing from all of these different areas, what might work in one situation doesn't in the other. And so you're like, oh, this sounds good, but maybe it doesn't work for, your niche or things of that nature. And so when we have the expert to help us with, here's the system. And it's funny, y'all, if you know me at all, systems is like a 4-letter word for me, because I'm like, ugh, systems. And I love systems at the same time because they work and they make our life so much easier. And I
Mhm.
think that if we could just follow systems more frequently, it would make our lives, yeah, again, so much easier. And
Yeah,
so
and that's what I love, especially if I work with somebody for the first time and I help them set up those systems. So we like strategize together and kind of figure out because like you were just saying, you kind of piecemeal all these little things and you sort of I really feel like we want to be authentic in our businesses and do it with our own integrity. And so I work with my clients to strategize what their launch looks like. Like what do they want to do? What type of event do they want to do? How do they want to sell their program? And then we systematize it. So as they're creating the things, I'm like, okay, create templates. So the next time you do this, it's already there and you can just use it. Like we're going to reuse the same automations. We're going to reuse the same landing pages. So usually that first one is a lot of work, but then after that, you got the system and you got all these templates and it's just rinse and repeat. I love.
And I think that's key, when we really think about, like, how do we scale our business? How do we take things to the next level? Because for a lot of entrepreneurs I work with, they are very much maxed out where they are. They don't have a lot of extra time to be working on the business. I mean, yeah. Yeah, to be working on the business because they're
Yeah.
stuck in the business. And we've got to get out of always being in the business. And to me, these systems, these setups, I love the fact it's like when you create this launch and if you get a team to help you, like I love the fact that I don't have to go in and change all the dates on the emails anymore or update for, like here's the new speakers. It's like, did y'all have those commercials? It was like set it and forget it. It was like a rotisserie
Mhm.
chicken or something. It's like set it and forget it. Like to me, that's the joy in business, and we're able to make that happen.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
can you
exactly.
tell us a little bit? Maybe give us an example of a client that you've helped, and maybe one of the tech pieces. If in case somebody's watching this thinking, I don't know what she even means by systems or the tech, or how could I apply this? I know you mainly work with coaches. We do have coaches watching
Mhm.
this. We may have some other folks watching this. So,
Yeah.
any notes for them? So, I do want to at least say hi to Ahmed, who says hi, watching us from Facebook. If y'all have questions, comments, thoughts, please feel free to put them into the comment section. If we're doing it live, we'll throw you up here on the screen. If we see it after the fact, I'll probably go back and check these in a few days. I'll make sure to tag Elisa if you had any questions for her when we're not live. But tell us a little
Yeah.
bit about a success story with a client, if that works.
Well, yeah, because I'm glad that you brought up the tech part of it because I think that that's a really it can be a huge blocker for coaches when they're launching their programs, right? Or even like setting up their business. It's like, where do I begin? And like I was just saying, luckily for a launch, there's you do need tech for sure, um, um, and you need it for like all the moving pieces that are having. So it can be quite simple. And if you're doing like a full blown launch, the tech that you need. I always like to start with any program, any client that I work with. I always talk to them about their promotional partners, their joint venture partners, their affiliates, whatever you kind of want to call them. I think they all have different definitions, but whoever's going to sort of help you promote your event. And you want to have an affiliate system for them. And I usually that's the first thing that I start people with. And this is so that you can track who they bring to you. So if that person ends up buying your program, where they came from, and then you can go back to that person that they brought that person into your world, and then there will be like an automatic way to pay them commissions for doing that as like a thank you for bringing them into your world. And so once you have your affiliate system set up, it's really easy to add new products, new programs to those people that you already have in your system, so that they want to promote your next event because they earn commissions. Why wouldn't they want to promote you again? You can just easily add them to your next launch. And the next thing that usually that I talk about with my clients that you need to do is set up a lead magnet, because you always want to be growing your reach when you're launching. You want to bring more and more people, new people, and their existing people into your world, and you want to sort of re-engage them or engage them for the first time. And so you have like your lead magnet, and then usually you do some type of like workshop and you have your program, and the tech that you need for those is having a landing page. So this is that people can opt in into your lead magnet or your event or your program itself. And with any landing page, you want to associate a tag with it. And that's just like this word where you actually like, so if my program is get launched, I would put get launched as a tag that I would like put associate with everybody that comes in through the landing page. And this can trigger an automation email. And we were just talking about that earlier, part of the systems where you can set it and forget it. You want things to be automated. And this is a way of setting up your system so that when someone says yes to your lead magnet or yes to your workshop or your program, they go into your CRM, they get an email, and then you can start nurturing them with more and more emails. Yeah, sorry.
No, I'm just sitting here thinking, wow, there's a lot going on, because I would think most people are like, okay, I'm going to launch a program or I'm going to launch a product. And it's like, hey, here I am, sign up. And it sounds like that there's a little bit more work that you're suggesting people go through.
Yeah. How do you mean?
Well, I guess most people, I think, are like, hey, I want to launch a program or I wanted to do a product. And they're just like, hey, here you go. Come see me and buy it. But it sounds like
Yes.
there's a lot more work that's going to go into it if it's going to be successful. And it's funny, I often joke with people, what I help people with, it is not rocket science, though it is like rocket fuel, which is so appropriate with this conversation of launch. And so it sounds like there's a little bit of energy and effort we want to put in up front to generate those results, because I'm sure you've worked with coaches that say, I'm going to do a program, and then they just say, here's the program, and they have no success.
Right.
What do you say to the people that are like, oh, I can just, if I build it, they're going to come. Or I don't need to do all of this work. I can just, throw up a landing page. That's all I need. What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, I have a client like that actually right now. And so we've like done some emails and things for the launch. And I was like, okay, now you need to actually like start really promoting your program. And it was like, oh, I don't really know how to do that. So we kind of put together a whole list of things I need to do. But yeah, 100%. So you want to, when you do have your program, and yeah, if you build it, they will not come. You have to tell people about it 100%. And a way of doing that is by getting into other people's world, like I was saying with your collaboration partners. So like being sort of exposed to them so they can kind of introduce you, tell you about, tell their people about you and the event that you're putting on, or the lead magnet that you have. And then, yeah, actually getting a lead magnet, because a lead magnet is something like a free gift that you give to people so they can come into your world and you can start nurturing them, because you really want to build that know, like, and trust. And then once people kind of know, like, and trust you, then they might be more likely to buy your program. Very few people just buy your program the first time that they meet you, which is why in a launch, usually you do some type of event, because then people can meet, like come to your webinar or your workshop or your one-day event, whatever it might be, and they can get to know you. They can see if they build rapport. They can see if you're the right coach for them. And then again, they're more likely to buy. And there's some book out there now, I can't remember who the author is, but talked about how there's like something like 17 different touch points that people need to have. They need to like see you in different forms. So they need to see you on social media, and you need to read one of your emails. They need to see you at an event or see you speak on a social media live or a summit, to start building that know, like, and trust. And they need to, I think it's like 11 pieces of content or something they need to read from you, something like that. There's like this, I'm totally butchering this, but the point is that people need to see you in many different ways and absorb your content in many different ways before they're likely to even consider buying your program.
It's interesting. I'm sitting here thinking about my purchasing habits. And I think that there's this massive disconnect of, I'm going to build a website, put it out there, it's $5,000 and everybody's going to come, versus who in the world goes and spends $5,000 with somebody that they saw a Facebook ad.
Right. Not likely.
Wait. If you know who that person is and y'all have that dialed in, I'm ready to run Facebook ads for that kind of people. If you found I know a gal that does amazing job on Facebook ads, like that's her specialty for coaches that are doing it. And I'm all in, but most people aren't going to spend $5,000 the very first time they click on something about you. So that's a really good point.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
So it sounds like, that there's a lot of components to this, which is why hiring somebody like you can be really powerful, because then we're not trying to have to do it all ourselves. Because any idea, and I know it's hard to track because everybody's different, but the difference of having an amazing project manager, launch manager versus DIY. I know
Oh.
it's a very broad kind of thing.
I think that, yeah, good question. I do think that it helps you get more structured and organized. Because with a launch, there's so much stuff that can, even with like the established coaches that I work with, and they're sort of a six-figure, multi-six-figure, they can still, when they're having like a 3-day event coming up, they can still feel super behind. They can feel really stressed out about it and just think like, there's so much stuff to do. Like, how am I going to get it done? And so that's sort of the benefit that I bring, is that I put together this plan. And the template I have for like just a standard launch that has like a workshop, not like a 3-day event, excuse me, that has like 268 tasks or something. Like there's a lot of things to do. And someone would look at that and just be like, nah, I'm out.
And
Like,
I'm assuming some of those tasks are like massive, but some of them are like baby step, little easy things too.
Yes. That's how I break it down. Yeah, I have like tasks and subtasks. Like for example, if you're going to build a landing page, you got to think about, okay, well, what's the layout going to be? Oh yes, I need to write the copy. I need to get the graphics that I want to put in. I need to set up my payment system. I need to figure out sort of like put the branding colors in, things like that, right? So you need to, those are sort of like, so a landing page for one thing has those sort of 5 or 6 tasks. Yeah.
Yeah, because it does
So
seem like
for
a
a
lot,
big
but
one.
that's y'all, there are all these things and it's really easy not to think of and not to consider what's
Mhm.
going on.
Yes, and that's what I love about, like, usually the first meeting that I have with someone is to actually go through that, and so I ask them a bunch of different questions because everybody is different with what they wanna do, like, I might, ask somebody like, "Oh, yeah, do you wanna have joint venture partners?" I'm like, "You know what? I'm not there with my business yet," and other people are like, "Yes, I want it," and, I'm like, "Okay, we'll start reaching out to them and get on their calendars," because some people, they have their promotional calendars are full, so you wanna get on their calendar early, so that they will promote you as opposed to going to them, like 4 weeks before your launch date, to slot you in. So we like go through that all the whole thing and really customize it for them and just like figure out where they're at and what they want to do. And like often in that plan, I will remove things, I'll delete things, I will adjust them to completely customize it for them and their launch. And then we work through it. Then I put all the dates through, and then that's when I kind of spoon feed them week by week. And I think that's where that benefit comes in. It's like, okay, I know there's 250 tasks. So I'm not going to think about all of them.
I'm thinking about the
I'm
2
just
to
going to
3
focus
that I
on,
need for
yeah,
yeah.
just these 10 this week. And then just know that week by week, it'll all come together beautifully at the end.
It's kind of one of those, how do you eat an elephant one bite of it at a time? And so you're just going one piece at a time. Love it, love it.
Yeah.
So I want to ask something about collaborative partners, but I'm going to come back to that in a minute because I want to take us on a tangent. Because one of the fun facts that we tease people with is that you started your project management career when you were living in London, England.
Yes.
What took you to London and what was it about? Tell us a little bit about that history, because then I want to ask you about being child free, and then we'll come back to the business side of it. Got to have a little tangent along the way.
Yeah. So I actually, I am very lucky to have a European passport. So I have a Belgian passport. And when I was in my early 20s, I was like, I'm going to go to Europe. And so I actually lived in the Netherlands for 5 years and then decided to move to London, England. And it was actually my manager, the last manager I had in the Netherlands was like, you might be really good at project management. And so she kind of started me on that path a little bit. But then I decided to go traveling for 7 months and relocate to London. And when I got to London, that's when I got my Prince 2, which is similar to like a PMP, and started that path there. So yeah, and that's really what started my whole project management career. And I was in London for 5 years, and then eventually moved back to Vancouver about 9 years ago. And yeah, so it was really just like, I have a passport and I want to go live in Europe. Why not?
Belgium is on my bucket list of places I want them to hire me to go speak or train a conference over there. And then I'm going to stay for a couple of weeks I'm like, my husband and I are big into craft beer, and Belgium's craft beer scene is like old school monk level. I'm like, I want to find like a monastery where you do like a fast and you're there for like, 5 or 7 days doing whatever that is, but you get to have beer for instead of food. Because that's actually why some of the big Belgian beers were created, because you can get like the Chimay, you can get 200 to 300 calories from one glass of beer. And that's how monks could fast without like dying, because they were getting at least a little bit of calories. So I'm like, what a fun thing that would be. I mean, probably be miserable, but sorry, I digress. That's one of my
That'd be very jolly.
That's one of my bucket trip desires list that I'm just sharing with the universe. Y'all can help me out. What's one of the trips that you enjoy? And it sounds like you travel a bit. So does being child free allow that more than otherwise? Like time to go to that direction?
Yeah, 100%. I've actually traveled 53 countries, believe it or not, which is crazy. I'm actually really quite proud of that stat. It was always something I was just like, I want to go traveling, but I never really had in my head, like, I got to hit 53 countries. It was just sort of, it just kind of happened as I did. And I also I lived in Europe for 10 years. So it was really easy to hit all the European countries. And
Yeah. Let's pause on that for a second if I can, because Canada and the United States are huge. And so like sometimes I think that people probably do country travel in Europe the way that I think of state travel in the United States.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. It's pretty much the same. Like, I think that England is the same size as Vancouver Island, which is like off the coast. Easy.
And I always laugh when people are like, oh, Tiffanie, I'm coming to Florida. And I'm like, great, where? Because if you're coming to Orlando, that's only about an hour away. Totally doable. If you're coming to Tampa, that's my neck of the woods. Yes. They're like, oh, Miami. I'm like, it is a 5-hour drive or a flight to Miami. I will not be coming to see you. I love you, but no, that's not a day trip. Sometimes I fly to Miami because it's too far to drive. It depends. All right.
The other great thing about Europe too is that because I was working there the whole time, and they give you 5 weeks of vacation. That's like the beginning standard if you have like a corporate job. And if you're an entrepreneur, it's obviously different. And so that allowed me to travel all the time. I could just hop on a train and be in France like within a few hours. It was amazing. Yeah. And being child free totally allowed me to do that, right? With no restrictions. And I could go live abroad, and I could go backpacking for 7 months. And I really love that about being child free, and how I could really make all those decisions for myself. And actually it was just like, where do I want to go this weekend? I can just hop up and go, and kind of not have that responsibility of having a child to take care of. And I think it also just allowed me to live abroad for so long and then move back whenever I felt like it, and I didn't have to worry about, upheaving a child's life. And it was just my own and all my own decisions. And I really feel like all of that traveling really, and being immersed in so many different countries, taught me really to be like adaptable and like curious and humble, and had this amazing ability to figure things out on my own. And I really use these skills as an entrepreneur, and especially when working with my clients, because it's all about that kind of like, okay, I'm in this sort of new territory, like how can we get through and figure it out together. And so being child free definitely helps with that, I think. And just let me figure it out all on my own. It was great.
And we are launching our Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free community. It is the first of its kind, at least that I have been able to find. What excites you about being able to network and connect with these other child free women?
Yeah. I really find that that is just there can be some awkwardness around being child free. I kind of like you always get that question sometimes if you're in some networking thing and people are trying to get to know you, like, oh, do you have any kids? And I always find the response can be kind of awkward. Or one that I sort of love the least is when someone's like, oh, well, that's okay. And I'm like, okay, so at least if I'm in, right?
Yes, it's okay, huh?
Yes, it is okay. Yeah. And so in being in, surrounded with a bunch of other women who are also entrepreneurs who are child free, there's absolutely none of that, which I think is just so wonderful, that it relieves all of that awkwardness. And we can just really just talk about ourselves and our businesses, which is just awesome.
Yeah. It's funny. I think that of all people, and everybody has their own stuff, so I am in no way, shape, or form like picking on anyone. But to me, it's like, okay, we're women, so we're dealing with that. And we've decided to be entrepreneurs, which I'm lucky. And almost all of my people are in the entrepreneurial space or are with somebody in an entrepreneurial space. So they all get it. But I hear stories from entrepreneurs all the time of people that are, oh, why can't you commit to this? Oh, why, it's 9 to 5. Why can't you work around it? And so we're already in that entrepreneurial space that people don't always get. And then you add to it that we're in this child-free space that most people don't get. And I am feeling very unicorn-ish lately. And just to let y'all know, that's why we're starting the Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free. Our kickoff event is on International Child Free Day, which I did not know was a thing until
Yeah.
recently, but it is. And it is August 1st. And so we're having a great kickoff event. If you go to womenentrepreneurslivingchildfree.com, there is information there. If you use coupon code WELC, so that's Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free, WELC 98, that will save you $98 if you get your ticket in May. Now, if you're watching this and it's June or later, use the coupon code LUCKY. You're not going to be as lucky as a buck, but it will save you a few dollars off of the registration.
That's so awesome. That's so generous of you.
Yeah. All right. And if you want to hang out with us, we do have a Facebook group, facebook.com/group/Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free. We are Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free everywhere except YouTube because it was too long on YouTube. And I should probably make a note of what we had to do instead. Something women child free. I'll find out. But speaking of all of these amazing links that I'm giving you, there is another link that we need to talk about. Tell us about this link.
Yes, yeah. So this is my lead magnet, the gift I want to offer you today. Because I was talking a lot about tech today, and even though our listeners, you know that you need it if you're doing a launch, right? But it may not change the fact that you hate it. And so for those who do kind of hate the tech or just don't want to deal with it, or it's just too overwhelming and you just want to outsource it, you're likely going to want to outsource it. And so this can be kind of scary. And I know that some people are really worried about hiring the wrong tech person, right? There's really no secret that outsourcing your tech can be a total lifesaver, but can also be a bit risky, right? If you don't know what to look for. So I've created the coach's checklist for hiring trustworthy tech pros. And you're going to get like the checklist of the prep work that you need to do before you meet a tech expert if you want to hire someone, a checklist of the questions to ask to make sure that they're the right fit for you and they can actually do everything that you need them to do. And I got some like insider tips for spotting some red flags as well, because I know that there are some people in this world who don't run their business with integrity, and there definitely have been some coaches who haven't had the best experience when it comes to hiring a tech person. And I really want to relieve that and get you prepared so that you can go to that conversation. And it kind of seems a bit backwards, usually if someone they're trying to sell you their tech package, but actually you want to go and interview them and make sure that they are right for you. So if you're a coach and you hate dealing with tech and want to hire help, and you got a launch coming up and you need support with that, and you want to avoid hiring the wrong person and wasting money, then grab this guide and this checklist, and you'll have everything you need to hire smart, avoid scams, and really feel confident in your decision. So check out the link and go grab it.
And if people are like, I don't want to mess with all of that, how involved are you when doing the launch? Is it, one size fits all, kind of this is how we do it, or do you have different options? What does that look like?
Yeah, definitely have different options. It's totally customizable. I've had one client, they just wanted their lead magnet landing page set up in that automation. That was it. And some people want everything set up. Some people want the whole project management and all the tech. So definitely do custom combinations for everybody. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so I know we do have her gift here, and that is in the description wherever you're watching this, on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. You also have your website. Tell us your website and where we can find you on social.
Yeah. So the best place on social media is on LinkedIn. I'm on that all the time. You can connect with me there and DM me. And also my website is inspirationbyelisa.com.
Nice. Now, I do want to ask, because I kind of teased that I was going to come back to this, and then I'm like, oh, crikey, we're almost done. But I still want to ask, because your number one thing that you mentioned was collaborative partners. Like, that's the first thing. And that's probably not something that most people are thinking about when it comes to doing a launch of whatever it may be. Could you share a few of your tips of what exactly that could look like if people are thinking, trying to wrap their head around bringing in collaborative partners, affiliates, JVs? There's so many different ways that we can call it.
Yeah, there's so many different ways. Yeah, so one thing that I love about these collaborations is that you want to work with people, you want to collaborate with people who have your same ideal audience, like have your a similar target market to yours, and know that it's not a competition. That's the thing that I love about it the most. Because, so say you have 2,000 people on your email list. Well, not all 2,000 of those people are going to want to buy from you, right? But you could have somebody who maybe does something similar to you that they might love to buy from them. And they might have the same thing that goes the other way around. And so you really want to, start meeting other coaches who are similar to you, but different and have a similar audience, and really build relationships with those people. Meet with them regularly, see how you can support them, and then in return, how they might be able to support you. And then through that, you can decide if you want to help promote each other's launches and how you want to email with them. And if they do say yes, I would love to support your program. And one thing I would say is that you want to still continue to love on them and to give them everything. Make it super easy for them to promote you. So give them an affiliate link so they can earn commission. Give them like email swipe copy or social media swipe copy. So when they're promoting you, they can kind of copy and paste things about your program or your event, so you can give them words to help, sell it to their people to get them into your event, which is usually a free event, and provide it to them and remind them about it. People forget, so just remind them about it and be really encouraging. And then of course at the end, be super grateful and thank them for promoting you and being a partner, and always continue to follow up and keep that conversation going. So I think it's a really beautiful relationship that you can have. And I have so many coach friends now, and sometimes we just get on the phone and just get on Zoom and just chat. And it's really lovely to have that support as an entrepreneur, because it can feel really lonely. And some people do feel that way. And then you can have support with your launch, and you get more and more people into your world and into your events. And so it just is win-win-win.
Yeah, I love the fact so for 20 years, I teach referrals and networking, and it's like, no, you don't pay. It's just this giver's gain. But sometimes in different professions, it's industry standard. And I know realtors have been doing this for years. Some attorneys, depending on the area they practice, coaches. And, it's a true thing. There are some affiliate partners that I have of people that I would promote anyway. But it's a nice little bonus when it's like, cha-ching, there is now money in the account. And so, as the world changes, I'm like, oh, this feels so awkward because it was always about the giver's gain and the referral side of it. And it is what it is. And so I find that this is a great way, because to me, I'd rather partner with people that I know, like, and trust. They've got that with their people. And so it just gives us the opportunity. And most of the folks are never going to buy on your list. I've heard somebody say it's like less than 5% of people on your list will buy from you. And so where are the other 95% spending their money? Why not share opportunities?
Sure.
Again, from the people like, and trust.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, and even go to their events, check out if they're doing a workshop, go to their workshop and check it out and see what they're like, and yeah.
I was at an event this week, and the person was looking, this person that was speaking was looking for JV, and my notes was very negative and really kind of dissing people, talking about gaslighting. And I'm like, yeah, that just, even in that 1 minute, that energy was like, yeah, no, he just doesn't, what he was talking about was cool. But I'm like, the energy was like, nope, not my kind of people. I got to protect my people.
Exactly. Yes, I find that too. And usually, like, if it's someone I am meeting for the first time, I'll usually just start with like a 15-minute conversation to get that feel. And if at the end of it, I'm like, oh man, I love that person, then 100% will book another call. And other times I'm like, I'm glad I only spent 15 minutes.
I know, because sometimes it's like, sometimes we just have to have that conversation, and I need to change mine to 15 for some of them, because 30 minutes is too long for some of them. Now it's too short for others, but we never know what we've got.
You can always rebook, right? You can always rebook a longer time for the people that you love.
Correct. Well, and speaking of people that you love, we have Tracy giving us some love. Elisa is great to work with. She helped me save time with my project. That is awesome. Kudos. Love hearing that.
Thanks, Tracy.
All right. So last opportunity here. What is it that you want to share with the viewing audience as we wrap up this Friday's Women Entrepreneurs Living Child Free conversation?
I would say to really take the time to set up your systems, especially if like you're sort of starting out, and because you want to do it early on, so that you already sort of have it done. Like you want to take the time to actually sit and set up your systems, because once it's already sort of set up, it flows so much easier, and you will not feel as overwhelmed. You won't get as burnt out if you have these systems that just flow. So really give yourself the time to do that. Like really, really do give yourself the time and let yourself just sort of sit down and think it through, of what you need to do and then systematize it. I wanna say.
Awesome. Yes. Systems are one of those, again, hate love relationship that I have with them. It's annoying because it takes all that time to set them up in the beginning, and it's going to save you so much time. The more systems, the more automation, the more time you have to have fun, y'all. And we know it's all about fun
Totally. Yeah, it
and
is.
making money while we're doing it. So, Elisa, thank
Exactly.
you so very much, y'all. Again, in the
Thank
description,
you.
or you can check it out here on the screen, inspiration by elsa.thrivecart.com/hiring tech pros to help you out, or just let her do the work for you. Seriously, you're going to get better results. Take that off of your plate. It has been a privilege. Thank you so much for sharing with our audience today.
Yeah, thank you so much
Next
for having me. This has been a lot of fun. I love the conversation. It was great.
And next week, y'all, I am back with another child-free, amazing woman entrepreneur that is going to be Angie Glittner. She is going to be here chatting with us. So we will see y'all next week. Same bat time, same bat channel.